Hello and welcome to Cavs Daily, your one-stop shop for everything Cavaliers related. The good, the bad, the ugly, the boring, the fun, the disappointing, whatever it is. This is the place to get that news from. I'm your host, Paul Williams. Appreciate you guys being in here with me today. If you could, either before we get started or if you have to see a little bit of the show and make sure you're messing with it, I respect it, but at some point, if you could, if you see fit, please hit the like button, subscribe, come along for the ride, trying to get to 200. Maybe not before the season starts, since that's within 24 hours, but within the first week of the season. Let's go for that. And with all that out the way, let's get to what we're all here for, which is Cavs basketball. And that's not just rumors anymore. That's not just predictions, rankings, all that stuff. It's time to get to the basketball. And with that, we're going to bring you a season preview for today's episode. Going to dig into just really getting to know this Cavaliers basketball team, as it is a bit different than any year prior, and talk about some of the biggest games that we're going to be a part of throughout the season and what we think it would take for the Cavs and for all of us to say at the end of the season that it was a successful season for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So with all that queued up, let's get to the first topic, which is just getting to know the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are coming off of a season where they went 64-18, number one seed in the East, second best record overall in the NBA. Had a historic first round against the Miami Heat, sweeping them by the biggest margin in NBA history before succumbing to injuries and just bad play at the worst times and falling in the second round to the Indiana Pacers. It was the second straight season the Cavs have lost in the second round. They've had a winning record for now 4 years straight, and they go into their fourth season as a legit top four team in the Eastern Conference. But this year is a bit different, as in previous years, we were considered top four, maybe five, but it was usually 4 or 5, maybe 3. This year, it's pretty much number one across the board, or number 2. Some places do have the Knicks ahead of us, but for the most part, the Cavs are coming in this season as big favorites to represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals. They have by far the second best odds to win the entire championship, behind only the OKC Thunder. And the Cavs are once again led this year by reigning Coach of the Year, Kenny Atkinson, who in his first year coaching the Cavaliers led them to the second best regular season in franchise history and one of the best offenses in NBA history. We returned the core of Donovan Mitchell, who's coming into his fourth year as a Cav, coming off an all-NBA season where he finished 5th in MVP voting. Did I say voting? Voting, MVP voting. Behind him, we have Darius Garland returning, coming off of his second All-Star appearance last year, where he dropped over 21 points and over 6 assists a game. He was a big part of the Cavs' very special regular season, but an injury at the end of the year really sabotaged his playoffs, so I'm sure he's coming in with a real big chip on his shoulder. He is set to miss a little time at the start of the season, but it's starting to look like it won't be much time at all, and we could see him within the next few weeks. The Cavs also are returning the best front court to me in the NBA in Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Excuse me. Evan Mobley was a first-time All-Star last year, as well as the Defensive Player of the Year. He finished 10th in MVP voting, and he also made All-NBA second team. Jared Allen also had a great year as well, though. Let's not leave him out of accolades as he finished with the best field goal percentage in the league last year and averaged nearly a double double and was one of the top double double getters in the entire NBA. So the whole core four is back. Some of the guys surrounding them are the same, some are different. Some of the returning usual suspects are Sam Merrill, who's been on this team for years now and is coming off a fresh contract he signed in June. He'll still be a big piece of this bench unit, along with Max Strus, who is in his third year with the Cavaliers. He will be out for probably a month or two to begin the season, and then it'll be interesting to see if he regains his starting role or comes off the bench. We'll also be returning DeAndre Hunter, who was a Cav last year, but still feels like a new DeAndre this year, as we only got him for the final 30 or so regular season games last year and then the playoffs. So he's kind of like in the, well, he's not a new addition, but he kind of feels like he's in the middle of a new addition and a guy that's been around. So he'll be back as well. And then Jalen Tyson, who was on the team last year, didn't really play big minutes. Same with Craig Porter. They'll both be back. Tyson's looking like a real rotation piece this year, while Craig Porter looks like he could pick up some spot minutes here and there as well. The Cavs will be looking to run a similar offense this year as they did last year, an offense predicated on getting out in transition, taking the first open shot, playing freely, pick and rolls, and really moving a lot off of the ball, not just stand still and watch two guys play the pick and roll game the entire 24 seconds. Defensively, does look like they're going to be basically the same. I mean, the same core fundamentals, but they do want to be more aggressive this year and really get back to their defensive identity that they carried 4 years prior to last year, as they were a top 5 defense between 21 and 24 every year in those seasons. So they're looking to get back to that. They'll have Atkinson for the second year, which him having a whole offseason with the Cavs and a whole season under his belt should be vital. And while the Cavs aren't starting off great in this department, I mean, it's going to come down to health. This team is built to win a championship. Will health permit? And if it does, then we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of pressure and a lot of expectations on this team. But it's a great core of guys that you're bringing to war with you. So it's not the worst position to be in. Now, some of the differences from last season, though, while we do have the same core and the same coach, this is a different team. The pieces we surrounded our core guys with, in my eyes, changed the entire dynamic of this team, and led by really Lonzo Ball. I think, again, it's going to depend so much on health, but I think the Cavs will be an entirely different team than last year when it really comes down to it, when it really matters in the playoffs. I think it'll be night and day if we can just have our key guys out there operating at solid health at the very least. I think this team is built much better for playoff games and big games where you're not going to get easy buckets and you're going to have to play a half-court game on both sides of the ball. Going to be able to make plays more than just one guy, more than just a Donovan. I think Lonzo Ball is going to take so much pressure off of our normal facilitators and the guys that bring the ball up and do all the dirty work as a point guard. Lonzo thrives with all of that. He loves doing that. And he also is 6'5" with long arms and plays great defense. So bringing in Lonzo Ball, Larry Nance Jr., and Thomas Bryant, I mean, I think those are underrated, huge additions that changes everything about this team. Larry Nance, his versatility being able to really guard 1 through 5, and also now being able to knock down the 3-point shot, and defenses will have to at least respect him when he's behind the 3-point line. So having a legit big man backup like that, this Cavs team has never had that with this core together. They've never had a real backup big that could play 20 minutes a game and be an asset. I mean, there's times when Jared Allen just isn't fitting with the game flow, the type of game it is, and we never had that Larry Nance type to take Jared Allen out. We would usually still do it and try to use like a Dean Wade in that type of role, but I just think Larry Nance is built for it. He'll be uber motivated. He's from here. He's just a great locker room presence and a great coach on and off the court for this Cavaliers team. I think he'll be a huge piece, and I also think Thomas Bryant, the professionalism, the energy, the joy that he brings and plays with, I think it's already rubbed off on the Cavs a lot, and the guys have all talked about it. Numerous guys have mentioned the type of effect a guy like that can have and he is having with this Cavs team. So while we lost Isaac Okoro and Ty Jerome in the offseason, I think the guys we brought on are just perfect fits to blend in and really bring more out of our core guys that are also still growing and still getting better every year. And Evan Mobley, I think the talk has gone too far as far as him needing to like just take this next step into top 2 in the NBA. I do think he has the potential to be an MVP level player. I've been saying it for years, but I don't think the jump will be as drastic as some people are saying it needs to be, but I do think we'll also see a different Evan Mobley, even from last year, who was a totally different Evan Mobley from what we've ever seen before. So I do think also with his jump mixed in and him having a guy like Lonzo Ball and Larry Nance to play with off the bench, I think it's going to be huge for him, and it's going to change also the way he operates and he looks on the court for us, which in turn just takes even more off Donovan, so he can really sit back and pick and choose his spots when he wants to take over games. And then when Darius comes back, I mean, he was thriving in the first half of last season already, playing with Evan the way he was playing. And then you've got Jared Allen, who I think is a sleeper to be a possible all-star this season, especially with Strus and Garland out early on. Jared Allen always plays well when other core 4 guys are out, and I just think he's reached a point in his career where he's fully grown into his game. He's comfortable. He's got all the experience he needs, and I think he's going to have a very good year as well. And they're all just going to bring a bit of a different look to this team, and as that all culminates together, we're going to see a different Cavalier team this year than we did last year, and I think it's for the good, and I think it's something we should all be excited about. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the big games and some of the games to circle on your calendar for this upcoming season. Of course, the opener tomorrow actually the day of this recording. So today, the opener in New York is, of course, a game that should be circled, I would hope. Then we play the Bucks at home on Sunday, which I think is another circle the calendar type game, as it's our home opener and it's versus the Bucks, a team that can definitely be a real competitor in the East this year, and they have Giannis, so that's just a bonus. Then in mid-November, we have a really nice homestand with some interesting games. From November 13th through the 19th, we face the Toronto Raptors, the Memphis Grizzlies, so Ty Jerome homecoming, and Ja Morant versus DG if DG is back by then. Then we host the Bucks, the Rockets, which will be a fun one, the Pacers, and the Clippers, which will be another fun one. So that'll be an interesting homestand, the first legit homestand for the Cavs in mid-August, something to look forward to. In early December, on the 6th, we faced the Golden State Warriors here in Cleveland. It's always fun to beat the Warriors here at home. So that's, of course, something to look forward to. And then on Christmas Day, going back to New York to beat the Knicks once again in Madison Square Garden on national television. Then we have some bangers in November. We have MLK Day against the OKC Thunder at home on national TV. That's going to be lit, of course. We have a home and home against the Orlando Magic the 24th and the 26th, which will just be good measuring stick games for two of the better teams in the East. And then the 28th, LeBron comes home. We face the Lakers when we will be wearing the throwback jerseys from LeBron's first stint here. So that will, of course, be very interesting. And then in February, on the 22nd, we go back into OKC on a Sunday, which will be on ABC, where we will have to get some revenge from when we played there last year. They kind of got us, but we won't get into that game too much right now. And then in March, there's another fun little group of games that I think will be very telling for the Cavs, but especially that late in the season. They face four should-be Eastern Conference playoff teams in the Detroit Pistons, Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks, and the Philadelphia 76ers. So that'll be a nice little measuring stick as we'll be just about a month away from the playoffs. See where everyone's at, get everyone's temperature in the playoffs. So those are some of the standout games for me that I'll be waiting for and watching for as we go through this NBA schedule. If I missed any, or if there's any others you think we should talk about or you're going to, drop it in the comments and I will bring it up on one of the next episodes. And to wrap up this season preview episode, I wanted to really get into what the Cavs must accomplish for this to be seen as a successful season when things are said and done. Is it just championship or bust, point blank period? I know for some people it is, and I get that. I mean, I'm not far off of that, I guess, mindset, but I don't think I'm all the way there either. Or is it at least Eastern Conference Finals? I think for most people, that would be the bare minimum is Eastern Conference Finals, and maybe if you lose in a very competitive series, but even that's pushing it. I really feel like it's pretty much finals or bust in my eyes. I think if we get to the finals and lose, most Cavs fans will be able to stomach that, and I think that would be enough also to quiet any rumblings about breaking up the core unless something goes wrong in the finals or in the playoffs with one of the guys. But I think that's the sweet spot. The Cavs have to have a solid regular season. I don't think we have to win 60-plus games. Get a top 2 seed. Get home court advantage. At the end of the day, even if we finish with the 4 seed, if we make the finals, I think that will, at least in most people's eyes, be a successful season for this Cavaliers team and be a season we can build on. I feel like we've taken a lot of the necessary steps that almost every NBA championship team has had to take through the process of growing and getting better. And I think that next step is the finals. So that's where I'm at with it. The Cavs need to get to the finals this year. We can reevaluate then, but I do think that that's the floor for this team, and that's the measure of success in my eyes, at least. Now, am I wrong about that? Am I right? Do you agree? Is it championship? Is it just have fun and have a good season? Please let me know in the comments. Let me know how excited you are for the season, or if you have any predictions, record predictions, let me know that. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow. But tomorrow's episode will also have this thing called NBA game analysis, because the Cavs will have finished the game by the time I record tomorrow's episode. So don't worry, we will talk about it. I'll stay up as late as I need to. whatever for you guys. I got you. So let me get off of here for now. Watch the rest of this Houston versus OKC game. I appreciate you guys rolling with me as always. If you could, before we go, hit that sub and like if you're still here with me. And until I see you guys again tomorrow, thank you and have a great day.